This is Bradley Sowash, jazz pianist, composer, educator, and author of the That's Jazz piano method, a method for learning to play jazz piano and to improvise and understand chords. There are 9 books in this series, and they're designed for a student with some experience, maybe about a level 3A. If you're a teacher or a student who can read and play some hands together of not too difficult music, you're ready to begin using this book. The way it works is there's a great CD inside that enables you to listen to the tunes so you play them correctly. And each tune has a warm-up page. This has some great tips on it about how to play hands separately and then how to put them together. But I'm going to dive right into the tune here. The first tune in the book is called Spare Change, and show you how you can teach or learn to improvise. Now, the first step in learning to improvise is to have a tune underhand, something that you play well, perhaps even memorize, or can just look a little bit at the music to play. Because that tune, and here I'll use a metaphor, becomes like a coat rack. And just like you hang scarves and mittens and hats on a coat rack, you're going to use the tune to hang your creative ideas onto. The tune becomes a kind of structure that bears up your improvisations, your embellishments, and your ideas and your personality. So we'll take a look at this, just the first few measures of spare change to get the sound in our ear. Now, if you have the book at home, it'll really help you move along here and follow along. But even if you don't, you'll be able to get a few ideas about how to apply some of my concepts to songs you may already be playing. Once the tune's underhand, and there is a lot more tune, it's 2 pages, but just with those 8 measures, let's say we have that underhand and we want to improvise. That's where we're turned to the next page, which is the Going Further page. So each song has that warm-up page, the tune itself, and then the Going Further page, which is really the meat and potatoes of this method, because that's where the creativity comes out. Now, a lot of people think you have to be an expert in order to improvise. Not true at all. If you can play a few songs, know maybe a scale or two, you're already ready to go. In fact, I would say you can improvise from the first day you take any instrument as you just begin to explore. And I would encourage all musicians to balance their reading with playing by ear and just trying things on their instrument. But really, improvisation begins with embellishment. That means you decorate or enhance a melody that you already know. So on this page, I'll take you through the 3 kinds of embellishments that I think are good starting points for improvisation. The first one I call fill notes. If you went to music school, you may think of these as passing tones, but I call them fill notes. These are the notes between the notes. Now, the first 2 notes of the right hand in this song are A, C, A, C, A. And the idea here is simply that there is a note between A and C, the note B, which can be plugged into that little gap, that little space between A and C. Which is a lot more interesting than the original. But that doesn't mean that's the only way that you can use fill notes. I encourage everyone that uses this to come up with their own variation. Another thing you can do is simply repeat the notes that are there. So again, the original can be made a lot more interesting and personal by simply playing the repeated notes of your choice. Just by repeating some of the notes, you make it more interesting. The last embellishment idea is to use neighbor notes. Now, I live on a hill, so if I go over next door and I borrow some sugar for my baking project, and I come right back, I've played a neighbor note. I went away and back by going uphill. And if I go over to the downhill neighbor and borrow some cream, I'm going down and back. So neighbor notes are always away and back. That makes them different from fill notes or repeated notes. Here's an example of using neighbor notes to enhance this melody. So using a mixture of fill notes, repeated notes, and neighbor notes, you might come up with an improvisation that sounds like something like this. Okay, stick around and check out some of my other videos. I'll be going through a number of the songs in my beginning book here to help you get off on the right step. The series is called That's Jazz, and it's published by the Neil A. Chose Music Company. Thanks and good luck.